What is up, my bodyweight warriors, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to balance the handstand. Now, I've done a whole handstand tutorial in the past. I've talked about all the progressions you can do, but a lot of people kind of get stuck on the wall or stuck not being able to balance a freestanding handstand. And a lot of that is down to the difference between trying to find balance and then trying to create the balance yourself. Now, this is something my partner in crime, Ulrich, is very insist on. He's a professional hand balancer from Norway, and he talks a lot about you want to create balance rather than find balance. If we sort of madly kick up into a handstand hoping to find that perfect point, then we're going to become very inconsistent and not very good at handstands. By the way, we have just released our US tour in March 2019. We're going to be coming to several locations around the US with some more to confirm and add to that list. The list is in the description down below if you want to meet us. We're going to have some weekend workshops full of handstands, bodyweight skills, mobility, all kinds of fun. Back to balancing. Before we can talk about how we correct balance, we need to understand how we come out of balance. And there's two main ways in which we can fall when it comes to a two-arm handstand, and that is through underbalance and overbalance. Underbalance is when we fall back onto our feet, and that's when our center of gravity shifts a little bit behind our hands. Overbalance is when we fall over our hands, and that's when the center of gravity kind of just gets a little bit away from us over that hand line. Those are literally the two ways in which we can fall out of a two-arm handstand. And then to go that, there are then 2 points that we can adjust in order to correct that balance. The first point is the wrist, and I'm sure you probably heard this one before, but if you haven't, I'm going to explain it now. Hands are our point of contact with the ground, and they act essentially like feet for our upper body. So when we're on our feet and we lean too far forward, we can just push out of our toes to correct that balance. When we fall backwards, we can push more out our heels and then try to get back to our center of gravity. The hands act in exactly the same way. If we're falling in underbalance and our feet are coming back to the ground, what we can try and do to save it is push through our palms. The opposite is true. If we're going to fall through overbalance, our feet are going over, we can try to squeeze the floor, push out of our fingers, and then correct our balance that way. This is going to be our primary way of adjusting our balance in the handstand. It's something that is continually happening while you're balancing. This is generally going to work for smaller adjustments, and a majority of the time that you're in handstand, ideally, as you get better, you want to be pushing through the center and the palm of your hand most of the time, as this is the most efficient way to do it, and it's not going to put that excess stress on your wrists. If you find that you're constantly gripping the ground, then you're going to want to look at your handstand form to make sure you can adjust that to be more out of the palms. As I mentioned, the wrists are kind of better for smaller adjustments, so we can use the shoulders in a similar way to in which we use the hands to adjust balance. If we're falling backwards into underbalance, we need to shift our center of mass a little bit further forwards, and we can do this by planching at the shoulders, breaking the line, moving that mass forward, and then pushing back into as straight a line as we can afterwards. This does actually require a decent amount of strength in the upper back and shoulders, so if you're not quite strong enough to do this, then what you can do is start sort of going into a mini handstand push-up position, although this is a little bit less efficient and kind of, I guess, not perfect practice when it comes to handstand, but you can get away with it for the moment. The second option with the other one is if we're going in overbalance, what we can do is we can do the opposite, and we can push the shoulders backwards into what would be kind of an arch handstand position to try and counterbalance some of that weight, although this is a little bit less effective than correcting underbalance. And we'll probably want to couple this with trying to squeeze the floor as well. And that's basically it. Those are the main ways in which we want to be balancing our hands. And obviously, there's probably more ways in which you can do it, and you can then start bringing in your lower body, but I would say this is going to encourage bad habits in the future. Ideally, the better we get at handstands, the more we can kind of do whatever we want with our lower body, and our shoulders and wrists should be doing the majority of the balance by staying in a solid line and just correcting it. That's kind of the ultimate end goal. Our shoulders should be free of whatever our legs are doing. When you're a beginner in handstands, the main difference between that and an advanced person is the size of the adjustments. As you start, you generally get these big swings from under to overbalance to all over the place. So it's going to be harder, and you're going to need more strength to try and control these swings in balance. As you get better, these corrections start to become smaller and smaller and smaller, and then eventually you end up in what looks like a very still handstand, but if you were to look at somebody's fingers or their hands, you'd actually see they're just making lots and lots of little micro adjustments to stay in that perfect balanced position. But that's it. Handstands just take time. Now you know how to balance them. Now you know the progressions from my other handstand tutorial. You can kind of just go away and make it happen. As I said, if you want to do that on a bit of a personal level when we're over in the States next year, the links to the workshops will be in the description down below. Also, if you just enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and support the channel. Or this is the sort of video that'd be great to share with a friend if you know somebody who's trying to get that handstand as well. This could help them out and make sure they nail it. If you have any questions about today's video, why not leave a comment down below in the comments section. I will try to answer as many questions as I can. And while you're down there, obviously you can hit that subscribe button if you want and join the Bodyweight Warrior tribe. But that has been it for this week, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week and peace.